People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. Well, who better than Ian Wright? As he just said there, people deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you're all blessed. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend. I know we're not missing Arsenal, but at the same time, we're missing Arsenal. And it's a dead international break. We're seeing a couple of entertaining moments throughout the international break in terms of the games. You know, there's 1-2 other talking points like Jadon Sancho and this whole cancellation fee at Chelsea. But other than that, where our football club's concerned, it just appears transfer news. We're all waiting for Andrea Berta to be announced. I mean, if Andrea Berta had a clothing line coming out, we might have seen official confirmation. As usual, big up you lot across YouTube and Twitch. Please make sure you're smashing the like button. Let's get to 70,000. Let's get the YouTube algorithm outgrowing. You know what I tried to do there. Yes, my guy. I hope you're doing well and safe. Berta wants Cunha at Arsenal. Saka set to become highest paid player. Calafiori set to miss 2 to 3 weeks. It's crazy in that regards. With the Cunha stuff to Arsenal, obviously, we've been linked with him before. Like the first time I ever came across Cunha for me was actually through, you know, watching Reiss Nelson in Germany. Ironically, Joe Linton was a striker at whatever club Reiss Nelson was at. I think was it Hoffenheim. Either way, Cunha was there. He went Atletico, didn't pull up any trees, and he's found his feet at Wolves. Now I like him. I like what he could be for Arsenal. Could play in Odegaard's role. I'm not really keen on him as a striker or false nine, but he could do that. I reckon his position, like the way I could see you fitting in if you signed tomorrow, would be off that left-hand side. And is he the pure winger? Is he the pure winger Mikel Arteta is convinced with? No. If we get the striker, get the 10, well, no, get the striker, get the left winger, get the centre mid, probably need another left back, sort out the goalies, get some players off the wage bill, and then there's obviously money left over. I'm not against Cunha. You know, if you come to Arsenal, bully it up, you're scoring and assisting, and you're one of the most vital players in our season, then fair enough, you'll start games. But it will have a more competitive squad so that we can really not only go into this season, but seasons. We know we're not going to win quadruples and trebles and all these things, but at least believe in that. Yes, injuries and loss of form and depth, and even if you addressed all the areas, your team could still be under the cosh in terms of player availability. But we'd have put our best foot forward. And I just feel the injury crisis, quote unquote, that people like to talk about. Yes, injuries, not having your best players is going to affect us, but we can't act like we put our best foot forward on the recruitment market anyways. And even with Cunha, I think there's a bit more fuel to the fire in that he clearly was, in my opinion, was on leaving last summer, let alone January. Obviously, you're going to get a new deal, get nice wages. If there's a release clause, I change the word release to an exit clause. There's some negotiation to be done in that regard. And obviously, we've been linked with him before. He's one of the best players outside the traditional top six, but I don't buy it in that regards. And, you know, where Berta's had history with players or been at Atletico when these players were there, it's easy to kind of make up those rumors, in my opinion. Saka, being the highest paid player at Arsenal, is probably bang on the money. He deserves it. He's probably, quote unquote, our most important player. He's the poster boy. He's come from the academy. You know, it's all fun and games saying sell Saka for X amount, Gabriel Magalhaes for X amount, Saliba for X amount. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to replace them. Yeah, if you do the Brighton and Brentford thing, or what Wenger used to do in that, you sell one star, next one that isn't known is ready to come off the conveyor belt. But we're not doing that in today's day and age. We're not necessarily, well, we aren't. We're not known for no innovative scouting and all of that kind of stuff. So you would have to, you know, take it with a pinch of salt, and you'd need to replace direct for direct quality, give or take. You know, some might be, I don't think we'll replace Saka with better or Saliba and Gabriel, but it has to be that kind of medium. If we lose Gabriel, that 100 million that you might get, if something is that, you're going to have to put at least 60 towards the centre back. The same goes for Saliba. Saka, boy, you look through the right, how many right wingers are there? Salah's great and his contract's running down. We're not getting him. Yalmao is, in my opinion, the best right winger in world football. I know, people, it sounds mad. You're not getting him. We've obviously got Saka. Beyond that, you're kind of ooming and ahhing, and you have to be able to put the money down. In relation to him being the highest earner, he deserves it. You know, he needs big money. Again, I'm no finance man, but you would imagine Saka's going to be, if he's not already, in and around 200 odd grand a week. You'd imagine Saliba, if he signs a new deal with that. I would say the same for Gabriel Magalhaes. Like, if from a fan's point of view, I think he should be around the top earners or top three, and he should get a 5-year deal at 27. But do Arsenal want to give him that? Because there might be a next one that we try to bring up through the system. There might, if it came to it, they would probably, in my opinion, rather keep Saliba and Saka because they're younger, not to negate anything Gabriel Magalhaes has done. And for Gabriel Magalhaes, obviously he's 27. If the big boys come for you, which they haven't been linked with you, at 27 is very different from, well, happy birthday Saliba. I think he's 24 today, but you get the point, that these guys sort of thing. So it'd be interesting, but I don't see a reality where, and I do think we'll get them to sign new deals, but I don't know if there's a reality where Saka's on like 200 odd grand, Saliba's on something like that, Gabriel's on that. Some people want to keep Thomas Partey. I don't know if he'll take a wage cut, but if we assume the wages stay the same, he's on big money. You're not selling Gabriel Jesus at least until next summer. Then there's someone else on big money. Kai Havertz, not to make this all about him, but he's on big money. He's probably our highest earner. And then there's some others. Obviously, Tierney's going, Jorginho's going, Kivior could go. Some would sell Tomiyasu, probably not in the summer, but moving forward. And granted, they're not on eye-watering weekly wages, but every little kind of helps. So we've got a lot to do. And that's one thing. And we know we're not getting Isaac. But if you get Isaac or Osimhen or Gyokeres or them kind of players there, they're going to be on like 100 odd grand. And that's before we assume other renewals. You got to give Wanyeri a new deal, Lewis Skelly a new deal. I would be amazed if in the next 12 months, I know he's not he's under contract for a couple of years, but I'd imagine Timber, just because of what we was doing the last kind of times we was renewing deals with, ironically, half the names I said, you throw in Benjamin White, you throw in Odegaard and all these guys, like we were giving guys new deals and Timber's earned it. I'd be surprised in the next 12, maybe even 18 months if Timber doesn't sign improved terms, if I'm honest. I still don't understand why Osimhen isn't in the conversation for Arsenal. After Isaac, he would be my second choice. I hear you, and we're still linked with him, but I think where Gyokeres is concerned, and Osimhen specifically, it's not that I don't believe Arsenal don't like them. It's not that I don't believe Arsenal hasn't scouted them. I just feel whether we think Isaac is realistic or not, we hear the more credible journalists say we've got interest in Isaac, and Sesko the same. You don't really hear that about Osimhen again. And I'm having Osimhen, look who, respectfully to Mikel Moreno, look who is currently up front. So we could, beggars can't kind of be choosers. But I just feel Osimhen, like you was linked with Arsenal, PSG, Chelsea, who have more money than sense, and you can't pay them to put their checkbook away. Everybody, United. When all of these teams are linked with you, and Napoli clearly gave you a contract to engineer your exit, respectfully, you've ended up on loan in Turkey. Is there something either wrong with Osimhen as a player, some sort of concern that we wouldn't know as normal football fans, but you would know if you're in the world of football, agent commissions? I don't know, man, if I'm honest. Burton needs to stop this Sesko BS. It should be only on the table if we don't get those three. I hear it, but I don't want to sound like a spoiled kid, because I'm not going to lie. Nico Williams and Sesko at the point of entry to Arsenal Football Club, like if they signed in their players today, it doesn't make me think, wow, oh my God, like we're stronger to fight for the title. But then I'm spoiled. I can't say I want Isaac and I want this one. If you can't get, this is my own words, if you can't get those two areas, you need to get someone else. The club have now pivoted and I've got an issue. My thing is, I want to get back to where it felt like we had a clear kind of strategy, because it's like we've half tried to find stars of tomorrow, players of tomorrow. Obviously, Fabio Vieira, Kivior, Lokonga, them kind of ones didn't work out. I don't agree with spending 65 million for Kai Havertz, but we've spent big money for him and Declan Rice. So we're half going for the established stars or relatives established stars. We've obviously picked up Saliba a few years ago, groomed him into this role. Saka's groomed into his role. Odegaard, the rest goes into it, the kind of stars of tomorrow. And I do think that's the kind of angle we got to go through. I know it's not always going to work. And yeah, I want stars, but if we're not going to get Isaac and these ones where simply, as you all know, you need to put the money down, we might as well go for the Nico Williams, the Seskos, these kind of guys that maybe in a year or two, don't get twisted, from the moment they sign, they need to be doing what they're doing, innit? But in the next 2 years or so, everyone might be thinking, why didn't we grab them type of thing? A bit like Isaac. Isaac, you ask every Newcastle fan under the sun if they rate him. Of course, they're going to say that. And I'm not trying to get at Newcastle, but when they signed him, they spent big money on a player that was at Dortmund. It didn't really work out, kind of thing. And now look at them, they're laughing. So when you do your scouting and you take a calculated risk, Bob is kind of your uncle in that regards. Isaac is too expensive. He's not realistic. I do think if Newcastle said 100 to 120, I think Arsenal will put the money down. The issue is You need to put that money down in terms that make sense for Newcastle. You need to give him big wages, and you need that. Obviously, goes back to what we said. And the first priority for Newcastle is to give my man a new deal, especially if they get Champions League football. He's got 3 years left on his deal. You need him to kick up a lot of a fuss, and that still wouldn't guarantee he's going anywhere, really. And there's probably several players on the peripheral things at Newcastle that they would sell before him. I think if it came to it, because Tonali's linked with moves, if it came to the big three at Newcastle, like Isaac, Tonali, Gyokeres, I think Gyokeres is the one that they've probably been, not to negate any of his ability, but he's probably been the one they've probably thought about moving on, if I'm honest. Nico Williams is a very good signing because he's been performing at the highest level for Spain, but our system is my biggest concern with him. I do think there's a bit of a tax that would have to be given to... 1 second, people, man. It's getting way too hot. I need to put a t-shirt on and take this off. But yeah, in relation to Nico Williams, people, I like him. I do think there's a tax that has to be given currently to all attackers, because I say it myself. If they went and got me Isaac, and I don't know, let's say let's just say a prime Sadio Mane and Isaac. If you got me them, I'd be excited. I think our front three goes up a significant level and whatnot. But I don't think we set our attackers up to thrive in the best possible way. Naturally, I think there's a lot Arteta's got to have to do. I like Nico Williams, man. I think he's been off the ball for large parts of the season. I think he's found his feet at moment for club and country. I think he's got the raw materials and foundations. And as I said, if we're not going to go and put the money down for them established stars where we've got Saka mad numbers, someone putting up equal numbers of Saka or even 50%, that bad boy striker that we know. When you're talking about historically Harry Kane, Mohamed Salah, Aubameyang, Haaland, these guys are going to be up there for the Golden Boot. Then we might as well go for these potential stars of tomorrow. And even with the Nico Williams thing, he's on 200 odd grand a week already at Bilbao. Logically speaking, with the greatest of respect to Bilbao, if you're going to go from Bilbao to Arsenal, any Premier League team, why on God's green earth are you taking a wage cut or not keeping the same wages at a minimum, which we all know, signing on fee, he is going to, get a bit of a boost. So you'd have him, you'd have the big three at our club signing new deals. Potentially some of you want to keep Partey. You've still got Kai Havertz and Partey. Well, if you keep Partey, he's on big money. You still got Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus. So yeah, Jesus injury basically writes off Isaac. We can't have both on the wage bill with their injury records, and that's the thing. And even that, it might have. I don't think you're wrong for what it's worth. Smash the like button, but who's to say we would have even been successful in selling Gabriel Jesus? Because where you look at it, a lot of people, and wasn't Edu in Saudi Arabia a few months ago when he was still actually at the football club. People say shot these man to Saudi, but who's really linked with Saudi? Trossard, cool, there's a decision to make. Gabriel Magalhaes, we don't want to sell him, but he's linked with there. Saudi are not exactly coming with offers for the Gabriel Jesus and that. It's one thing saying sell a player, but you need a market, and that's also assuming the player wants to leave. Being devil's advocate, what if Gabriel Jesus thinks, you know what, I've had 2 ACL. Well, I've had an ACL, I've been on the peripheral. This is life at a big club. I've won the Premier League bare times. I still buy into what Arteta is doing. My family's comfortable in London. I want to stay. What if he wants to leave? Arsenal accept a bid, whatever that is, from someone, and he says the terms ain't right. The terms ain't making sense. This is why I think, obviously, we know we need a striker, we need a winger, we need a centre mid, we need additions. But I think the greatest thing, purely because it's now March, the window opens in a couple of months, and Berta's come in. I think the one thing I'm really looking at you beyond the obvious this summer, can you flog some of these players off the wage bill? Because I wouldn't say it's a rebuild, but we've been fighting for a league for 3 years now. Give or take, the vast majority of this squad, or a lot of these players, have been here a 5-odd period, and you've seen fluctuation. Once upon a time, certain men like Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko were revelations, were first names on the team sheet. They're not that anymore. Whether it's been the system, little changes from Mikel Arteta, other players, we're kind of in that period right now where I don't want to say it's a rebuild and things, but we need to change a lot, really and truly. And I do think that Kai Havertz's wages and transfer has caused more harm than good in terms of the resulting actions in the market, because you've got Kai Havertz who's going to have to play. If you sign a striker in centre mid, what's going on there? And even with Kai Havertz, you're going to need to get a striker in early, because Kai Havertz, I hope you're, back sooner rather than later, but he's coming back from a hamstring injury, a long-term hamstring injury, as soon as pre-season starts. You're hoping on Gabriel Jesus and Tomiyasu at best. They could be in December. They could come back earlier. They could come back later. They could, unfortunately, be setbacks. And we all know with both of them, especially Tomiyasu, is very touch and go. I think the first thing to do is confirm Berta officially with Arsenal. I'm still a bit worried we might let him slip. We need to sell Nelson, Vieira, Jesus, Trossard, Martinelli, Havertz, Kivior, Zini forgot. And that's the thing. We're not going to flog all of these players out in one window. I'm not suggesting you are. I just think some fans think it's like FIFA or Football Manager. You're not flogging all of these players out, bringing in bare man. Some, you know, I'm asking for at least 50, 60, 70% of this. And to be honest with you, before, whether we rate Kai Havertz or not, there's men that need to leave the club before Kai Havertz. Again, the market. Is Kai Havertz going to go Saudi? Are the big boys in Germany going to go for him? Are the Paris Saint-Germain's in these clubs going to go for him? I don't know. I couldn't have pictured once upon a time Arsenal spending 65 million on him. But there's more pressing needs. We've got more pressing needs in terms of recruitment and all of these kind of things. Nelson needs to cut. He's on 100 bags. Fabio Vieira, I'm keen to see what we do with that. But you are right. Gabriel Jesus, we just explained that. Trossard's a weird one because if we're in win now mode and you grab me a striker, you grab me a left winger, Trossard, Kai Havertz, Martinelli on top of additions, I don't mind you being part of the squad, but a bit like Zinchenko, come the summer, Trossard's got a year left on his deal, a decision to make. In terms of bringing money in, it seems like there's a market for Trossard. We rejected Saudi before. If Saudi offer 25, 30 million for a 30-odd-year-old, we might say, you know what? 1 year, let's just ban these players under attackers, you know, whether one plays on the left or the right. Trossard goes, you've got Wanyeri coming on the scene, you've got Nico Williams there, you've got a fit Kai Havertz. I mean, you would have Kai Havertz, you got Bukayo Saka, you got 1-2 things to maneuver. Nelson needs to cut. Martinelli, as I said, I think there's many people to go before Nelly cuts. Kivy will be interesting because another one that I don't think the club will force him out, if that makes sense. I think the club are happy with you to stay as a number in the squad, if that makes sense, with the greatest of respect. But you're not going to play games. You're not going to get to your level. You need to probably leave. But it seems like he has a market. Now, for me with Kivio, if I had to bet, I reckon the Italian clubs are going to come to you and say, listen, we want him, but it's along with an option to buy. If I'm Arsenal, I'm flipping that and saying, if you want him, it's an obligation. Because every minute, probably the Juventus links will die down a bit because they've clipped Motta, but he's linked with Inter, he's linked with Juventus, he's linked with AC Milan, he's linked with this one. So it appears to some degree that he's got a market, that Trossard's got a market. Like two players that some would sell more than others. And as I said, there's more pressing needs, but I think everybody would say, do you know what? They could be available. They're going to bring prees. Nobody's coming off with anything for Gabriel Jesus. We're not ripping up no contract, especially as he's on the injury treatment table as well. That's quite scummy. Kai Havertz ain't going nowhere. Zinni's another one. He was linked with Dortmund, was linked with Atletico, was quite coy. I do think we need a left back, if I'm honest with you. Big up young Lewis Skelly's doing his thing. Calafiori, I still haven't given up with you, but Lewis Skelly, trials and tribulations of a young player. We're looking to make you the 38-game man. I'm not sure. Calafiori can't stay fit. Beyond that, then if we ignore the names I'm about to mention, then you're talking about probably putting Timber over there. I don't really, if push comes to shove, I wouldn't mind keeping Tini, but Tini's cutting. Kivio, you don't really want to see that at left back. Zinni, certain games at left back, more time in midfield. You get where I'm going. So it'll be an interesting summer, man. It'll be an interesting summer. For me, I'm really looking at, obviously, I need to see strikers and wingers and this one and that one, but I really want to see something with outgoings, if I'm honest with you. If we sign a top striker, it means we have 500k on the bench in Kai and Jesus. Unsustainable. We have to act like a big club, and we are going to get in a realm like that, but like you said, it's unsustainable. That's where I don't know what to make of the summer. Timber can play left back and Ben White right back. It's true, but for me, I want another left back. Lewis Skelly, you can play a couple of roles. Calafiori, I think I'm cool with that. The longer we keep Havertz, Jesus, and Zinchenko, the longer we aren't going to get over the line. Personally, I think, well, one of the three names you listed there, I think Jesus is a next summer thing. Italian clubs will offer two. Oh, man, you're moving mad. Kivio is useful for depth, but 25 mil he can cut. Yeah, he's useful for depth, but I'm not really convinced with him. Like, God forbid if Gabriel Magalhaes had a long-term injury, and let's just assume everybody is fit in our defensive unit. Yeah, I want out. And I'm not trying to diss Kivio because I do think he gets a lot of hate, right? But if everybody's fit and we just assume, boom, something happens to Gabriel Magalhaes, is Kivio going to be your first option to partner Saliba? He might be left-footed, believe in him, all of that kind of stuff. Personally, I feel if something happens to one of our centre-backs, give or take, before Kivio, I'm potentially looking at the Timbers, the Benjamin Whites, the Tommy Yasus. Maybe I'm forcing this one. Maybe even Declan Rice at centre-back before I look at Kivio. And at left-back, I'd rather see Tierney. I'd rather see Lewis Skelly. I'd rather Calafiori. I'd rather put Timber over there. between Kivio and Zinchenko, it's a bit of a toss-up. It depends what the game demands. Do you want someone that's a bit more defensively switched on, or do you want a bit more personality? Please make sure we're smashing the like button. No chance in hell Arteta running Kivio if Gabriel Magalhaes gets injured. This is what I'm saying. He's cool for the depth, but for him, you probably need to keep it moving. Zinchenko and Kivio aren't trusted. Tomiyasu is never fit. We need a left back. When everyone is fit, Tomiyasu is back up to Gabby. And that's my first thing would be a versatile kind of defender of the Timber and Tomiyasu ilk, man. Japanese clubs might want Tomiyasu. I don't know, man. It depends. Does he want to go back to his homeland or does he want to play in Europe? Do you keep Partey one more year with a pay cut? If you're Partey, why are you taking a pay cut? Like, you shouldn't, if I was Partey. But to answer your question, yeah, I mean, yeah, 1 year plus an option of another year. I wouldn't mind Partey. I wouldn't mind another centre mid, Declan Rice, Partey in and around. I personally feel, I was thinking about this and I've said this before, when I look at Arsenal's last transfer windows, I don't think, and again, in theme with fans not exactly always being happy, I do feel we can't be pleased. But I look back to that summer we signed Raya, Timber, Kai Havertz, Declan Rice. And I said Timber's the most important signing. Timber will be the guy, but give Declan Rice his flowers. I think that was the one for a variety of reasons. We got better players. All of these players in hindsight have become important to some degree. We got them in early. But that summer, now, obviously, we've spoken about this before. In hindsight, the plan clearly was Declan Rice and Kai Havertz together in midfield. It didn't bang. We're at with Kai. But that summer, I wanted Lavia. Now, he can't stay fit. I still think he's a quality player because I saw him as the younger Partey. At times, it only feels at our club that we evidently try to solve a solution when it's at our front door. And I'm being a bit disingenuous in that we've been linked with a striker, quote unquote, for a few years. But you get the point, man. Absolutely love Partey, but we have to freshen up in midfield, so we need to fresh up those legs. For me, it all depends what we're doing, man. If we let Partey go and only bring in what's his name, Zubamendi in midfield, I'm not necessarily against it, but I think we lose a bit too much physicality, man. If I'm honest with you, I think we lose a lot. If I'm brutally honest, get the likes up. Aaron Talks Football Wednesday, my guy. We go again. Make sure you're following Aaron's platform. Big him up, man. Appreciate you. What else have we got? Let me scroll all the way up. Big up you lot, people. Hope Monday started in the best possible way. Handcast ourselves in the market yet again. It's a joke. Yeah, man. And it's easy for me to say, but then, and I get it, and I'm not even criticizing it. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but you look at, well, I am criticizing Kai Havertz is one, but Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, where you've got big players on big wages, like we have, and it happens with everyone, but we've got a lot to do. I think Fabio might come back. I wouldn't be against it. I think when you look at our squad, I think I'm repeating myself. I think the primary areas for me, like if we just look at our starting 11, pardon me, I think you need a starting level striker. I think you need a starting level left mid. I think you need a centre mid that's going to partner Declan Rice or be a proper option there. In the defence, I do think we need to, fair enough, it's Lewis Skelly's spot to lose. Calafiori's doing his thing. I do think you need to bring another left back into that mix. I would say the three areas I said before, left back, like my mad priority, left back, equal priority, but like secondary priority, if that makes sense. And then when you start to nip it back, I think there's an option for anything from 1 to 3 midfielders. A bit agreed with me. I think you could get me a 6 and an 8, 2 8s, an 8 and a 10. That's where I see us being linked with that Nepan guy, little development kind of one. If he develops and he's a first team player, great. If we get him for 5 to 10 million as an exaggeration and you turn him into a 30, 40 million pound man, Bob is your uncle kind of thing. Because, Odegaard does need competition. I would say away from the competition thing, because the captain's going to play week in, week out. You need someone that can come in and when rest his legs or fill him when he's injured. Yes, Wanyeri in time can get there as well. So there's a lot to do, man. There's a lot to do. As I said, the 3 areas, striker, midfield, left wing. I think you need a left back. I think you need 2 goalies. I think you need to get a decent number 2. And if you could get a little Scott Carson like City have, like someone that's just a third choice guy, probably helps us with the homegrown. I don't want to see the young players on the bench. All them young keepers go out on loan and go play football. And then I've just mentioned the midfield things. There's a lot we could do, man. And there's a lot we need to do. At a very minimum, I think you need 6 signings, but I would say 3 to 4 signings, and ones that are going to push the starting 11. As I said, striker, left wing, centre mid. I do think we need a left back. It's on brand with left backs and goalies, man. Problem we have is yet again we've given average players an excellent wage, which devalues Zinchenko, Havertz, Martinelli, Jesus, because no one wants to pay their wage. Exactly, and they're going to get loyalty bonuses, man. Left back, centre back, DM, centre mid, left wing. The irony of Fabio is that That's the exact profile we need, a Bernardo Cazorla type to loosen up the midfield. Fabio is the original Xhaka succession plan. It didn't bang. I think what you're seeing with Ranieri for this season, that is probably what Mikel Arteta wanted to see from Fabio Vieira. It just didn't happen. I'm going to be celebrating my league title all summer. We're good on this side. See you, man, next season. Everyone was right. Marcel, take a day off, mate. We have a 2 and a 6 in hand, but the flop is showing a royal flush, and man are still going all in. Cazorla was, listen, what we would do for Santi Cazorla at this moment in time. If you don't laugh, you'll cry, man. If you don't laugh, you'll cry, man. And it's sad. It really is. Williams would defo feel like an Alexis signing to me. I really do pray we get him, man. I think he's a perfect upgrade on Martinelli. I won't say Alexis because I think Alexis' quality was never in question. He was a top class / world class player. It's just a thing where you come out the limelight at Barcelona, you show everything, and maybe to a degree Mesut Ozil, and there's other people of that. I think Nico Williams, I think you got a good foundation, a good grounding. I like what you are, but I'm not in love with what you are. I think I can be in love with what you are with a bit of work. I feel the good things I see from you, if we can take that consistency to a bigger level. I know we've got question marks around goal scoring and chance creation, even though statistically we're up there. But at the same time, I do think there'll be a natural boost with that Arsenal. I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. Because if you're not going to go and get like somebody that is half of what Bukayo Saka is and the money that comes with buying that, go get the Nico Williams. I'm on the Nico Williams thing more than I'm on the Sesko thing. For Sesko, I like him. I like what he could be. You can't, for me, it's quite the come down from Isaac to Sesko. I do like Sesko. I would like to explore the Osmans and Gyokereses and these kind of ready-made ones before the Sesko one, but I do like the illusion of what Sesko is. I just think with Sesko, I just think it's a development signing. It's one that isn't going to break the bank. One, we've done the groundwork. One that can be better in the next few years. One that, assuming Kai Havertz is fit for the start of the season and he picks up where he left off, you're kind of rotating in and out with him. I don't know, though, man. DG, when are you going to bring on the real dons like Curtis, Lee and Troops to speak some real sense? All these top gooners and positivity merchants, man, sunshine and rainbow dons. To be fair, I got a decent mixture, man. I bring through people that are more positive, people that are more negative, people that are everywhere in between. I try and bring everyone, man. Shout out Lee, Troops and Curtis. In relation to Lee, Troops, Dan's name's not there, but Dan, we did a show on his stream, so yeah, check that out. Shout out Curtis, innit? So yeah, man, it is what it is in that regards, man. We're gonna get into everything. Let's make sure we've got everything as well. Tab police, look away in a few moments, people. And I need to watch the time because we're gonna have an award show and whatnot later. So yeah, so it feels like I got everything. You're a Liverpool supporter in an Arsenal chat. What do you expect? Hey, Marcel, for once, please, bro. Please, bro. Please, man. He's hitting several nerves. Get Cazorla in an Arsenal shirt for the Emirates Cup and let fans say bye properly. We was robbed of that lovely player. Bro, I must admit, yeah, I took a lot of things in my early childhood, being 29, 30 next month for granted, especially with the physicality and the caliber of player and the tenacity and I would say reacting to adversity, seeing my team win the league at Old Trafford where there's injuries. I took that for granted. Definitely during the Emirates era where, you know, there was a lot of banter years. In terms of the profile of player, like we used to be sick of seeing creative players when, you know, a 10-10 kind of, what, the Wilsheres, the Santis, the Jack Wilsheres. We used to have a running joke, even Mesut Ozil, one would be pigeonholed out wide. And let's be honest, it's one thing talking about them, but we had some absolute shit players playing absolute ball. There was a lot of things I took for granted, man. I do think, you know, even yesterday I was listening to Mikel Arteta speak years ago about Arteta's, Arsene Wenger's way of playing and that. And I look at him sometimes thinking, this ain't what you're speaking about, what you're seeing is very different, man. Don't you think Sesko might be a bit too much like Darwin, banking too much on him being a success? No, I think his decision making and whatnot's a lot better, if I'm honest with you. Big up Dan Potts, man. I need us to sign projects to get our economy working again after these fails with Fabio and Lokonga and the others still at the club not pulling their weight. Lokonga's another one contracted until 2026. We're going to have to sort that out. Fabio just ain't built for this league. We honestly need to talk to Porto into taking a loss. I'm not going to lie. Porto, you can have him on loan again. But you know what? If we're not going to sign a 10 and he's going to be part of the squad, fair enough. But Porto, if you want to take him on loan or taking him permanently, great. They got that lad, is it Moura or something, some 17-year-old. If Fabio Vieira can knock some money off, he looks like he could be someone. In hindsight, I do think we bought Lokonga, Fabio Vieira. Fabio Vieira the most out of all of them, but Lokonga, Fabio Vieira and Kiwior, maybe a season or two early. We think we tried to be a bit smart, which, you know, you have to try. Who was better in the 6/8 when they were here? Santi or Rosicky? Both did bits when played there. Santi's better than Rosicky at everything. Out wide, 10. I wouldn't quite say Santi was a 6, but he was more of a, he's been a more expansive and more withdrawn 8. Better than them. Hey DG, I've heard mentioning of Wirtz as competition for Odegaard. What do you think about Damsgaard? Listen, Wirtz can't be no competition for Odegaard. He's taking Odegaard's place, but that's a dream, and the dream is free. The house was sold separately. Damsgaard, admittedly, if we're rocking to Brentford, I want to ask for Mbuemo and people of that ilk first, but I wouldn't be against Damsgaard, man. He had a great first half of the Premier League season. He was doing his thing. Ramsey, Ozil, Wilshere, Rosicky, Cazorla trying to be stuffed in that T that needed a 6. Bro, it was crazy. We would have all these creative dons, have no striker. Then we get all these creative dons, have someone that can, you know, lock down the midfield defensively. We ain't got a forward. We get the forward and the 10. We ain't got the strikers. Then we'll get the whole attacking unit. We ain't got the defensive unit. Kind of right now, we got the defensive unit, quote unquote. We don't really have the midfield. We got little bits and pieces. Odegaard's doing his, well, Odegaard's been good for us, but he's not doing his thing. Rice, quality, party, we don't know what's going on. Saka is Saka. 1 year he's come on the scene and doing his thing. Martinelli, Trossard, it's a box of randoms in that regards. Kai Havertz, I do think you're harshly treated, but at the end of the day, you're a squad player. You can chip in, and let's be honest, he's one of our more reliable and consistent attackers, and that is a problem in itself at Arsenal Football Club. None of that is Kai Havertz's fault. If I'm saying that about us, then something needs to change, but we ain't got the attack in front. It's jarring, man. It's jarring. Despite all of this, though, we could have put our best foot forward this season, definitely last season, and maybe even the season before. Some man trying to play YouTube police. I can watch whatever content I must. Hell, man. Better than Rosicky at everything, bro. Like, and I'm not dissing Rosicky. There's nothing Rosicky could do better than Santi Cazorla. Bro, Santi's a big dog. Probably one of the most underrated players of his generation. Unfortunately, of various degrees. But where you look at Santi Cazorla, Juan Mata, Xabi Alonso, there's a couple of others. Unfortunately, you're playing when there's Xavi and Iniesta. So, like, if you lot were English or maybe even Portuguese, which is border Spain, you get your flowers, but you're not gonna get your flowers. There's no. Rosicky was cold, but you can't talk to Santi. Santi was better 10 than you, better out wide than you, better 8 than you. That's genuinely what I feel. I don't think Rosicky was good, better than Santi Cazorla. Anything. Big up little Mozart though, because he was quality. Santi in this team, bro, bare guys that used to play for our football club walk into it. Santi walks in. What I would give for Thierry Henry, what I'd give for Overmars or Perez or people of that ilk, you know, left back, what we do for Ashley Cole. Even, I'm not even gonna lie, even a little Monreal right now would do wonders. Monreal with Timber at right back, the 2 centre-halves right, it would do wonders. Got a lot to do, man. Some of these man in the chat lost bets yesterday on those games. Would you say the newer generation of Arsenal fans take for granted the serious title challenges and the promise we have around the club for granted a little bit? We haven't seen nothing like this for decades. If I'm honest, I think there's fans young and old that like to be glorious losers. And you lot know me, I'm quite balanced. You know, we want to win titles, but there's little nuances. I think there's some people whose expectations are on the sky, in the sky without rhetoric, which tends to what you see on socials. And I think some people want it both ways. I think some people want to more the toxic positive. You want to talk about Arsenal to the high heavens. We're the best team in the world. We've got the best manager. We're doing this. We're doing that. And I'm not talking for rival fans or Arsenal fans that do agendas. Normal football fans that you can have a conversation with. If they hear what you're saying and all the innovative things Arteta and the club are doing, you don't want to be held to that high standards. You're told you're being negative. We live in a realm now where anything that isn't positive bullshit is seen as being negative, and that's cult-like figure. Some people like glorious losers, and I get it. Really, I'm not saying Arteta is or isn't the guy. I think we're in that kind of weird space, but that's just what I believe. People don't like the truth, if I'm honest with you, and it's a cult figure. A lot of people sit there and say, "I want Arteta to win a Prem, not Arsenal to win a Prem," which I don't want that. There might be players in my team that I don't rate. I want them to prove me wrong. I have question marks over this manager. I want you to prove me wrong. I think you could have, should have, and in other aspects would have been sacked. I think you're on borrowed time. I think a lot of people are. But I don't think you're, just because I think that, I'm not going to sit here and act like Mikel Arteta is a bad manager. I think you're an innovative manager. I praise you for the top 6 record. And ultimately, I'm not going to say you're living by the high standards you've set, because this is Arsenal fucking football club and it's a massive club. There is high standards and the man echoes that himself. But you're ultimately being held accountable to where you've got the team. For me now, it's about getting over the line. And at some point, Whatever fans want to say, whether they want to rewrite history, because they were saying in the summer, the gloves are off, we need to deliver. This summer, they're going to be saying it about this the next season. However long they want to go saying that, at some point, you're going to have to stop and say, right, we might have to try something differently. And nothing guarantees success. There's no guarantee staying with Arteta and kind of having the thought of we're too far to turn back, we're going to get over the line. There's no guarantee that if we sack a man, we get a new one, because you are going to have to allow that new manager to rebuild. For argument's sake, what if he says, I don't care that you spent 100 million on Declan Rice, safe. I don't care about Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, and Wright. I want new things. I want HEATS to play in the 8. Well, you get where I'm going. I'd be nice in the chat, man. I'm not on the Arteta FC thing, bro. Like, DJ, are you Arteta in or out? You know you can't sit on the fence forever. There's no why for sitting on the fence. I've made it quite clear. I think there's valid reasons for you being sacked. I think if it was up to me, there needs to be a serious conversation. I think the in or out stuff is quite redundant. The man has signed a new deal, he's gonna stay. I think there's several reasons you can make to keep him. I think there's several reasons for him to go. Life isn't black and white, and no one ain't gonna force me to say that. If Arteta left tomorrow, I'm definitely not crying, because you've had enough time, and I don't want to do the woe is me. But for me, it's one thing saying sack the guy. And people can't answer this, and I'm not doing the who to get thing. We need a plan. Runners can't just say sack Donny and then what happens tomorrow? There needs to be a calculated plan. What manager are you going to go and get? And that's not me saying no one can do what Arteta can do, but what are you going to get? Well, I've spoken very clearly, man. Like, if you can't understand that, you won't understand, man. Hopefully it's crystal clear. I'm loyal to my football club, and that's about it. I do not care about half of these players or the manager beyond me wanting to put your best foot forward. And one thing that annoys me about the toxic positive dons is they're when you're gassing up the team, they don't tell you to keep your feet on the ground. They're very good at micro analyzing other clubs where they're going to slip up. They're over reliance on this player and that player. When it's us, it's things they say things that play a part. But then they'll say injuries, ref decisions, we haven't had luck. These things make sense in isolation. But you can't lie to me. I'm an Arsenal fan. I see what's in front of my eyes. I think it's crazy to say fans that seen this club lift major honours that this era is the best we've been in. It's definitely not. We've not won anything. And whatever way people want to shape it, you can't tell me that these last 3 years we couldn't have. Maybe I'm dreaming about a three-peat or a retention of a Premier League, a double of sorts. Could have at least won one. Could have at least put up. We've not done well enough in the domestic cups. Monreal would fit perfectly with the inverted style. The man said DG would make a politician never change, but look at this guy, man. Arteta was given bread to build this squad only for there to be another rebuild on rebuild. I don't think a rebuild is a bad thing. I do think we live in this day and age of phases and projects, and I'm not saying that Arsenal need a massive rebuild. I just think, logically speaking, the vast majority of the squad have been here 5 years. Some have grown in stature, some have decreased in stature. The way we're playing is a bit different. Contracts, where we're at in the last 3 years, how this season's gone on. It makes sense as to why, changes above Mikel Arteta. He started with Edu. There's a new Don coming in. That is a rebuild of sorts. Monreal and Sagna be elite. Arteta deserves a few more years. I'm enjoying beating Arsenal every game. This guy. We didn't beat Howe's team once this season. I'm nervous about Rio, and it's 2 weeks away. Jokes aside, Arteta is a decent manager at best. More question marks than answers. Exactly. And naturally, there should be question marks. There should be. This is the realm you're in. I can't back Mikel Arteta. I can definitely back you as you're my manager and the players. And, I've been speaking about that. I can't back you religiously. I don't back no one religiously, but I can't back you religiously because you haven't shown me something. I could understand why people might not want Pep gone or Klopp gone or this or Conte or Jose or for Wenger, because there's been a track record. Arteta ain't done that. And if I look at it harshly, you should be a good coach. You manage Arsenal Football Club. You've been working with Pep, been working with Pep, worked with Wenger, been at La Masia. They all say you're a good coach. That doesn't mean much to me. Of course it does. You lot are subscribed to me, so you're here for sensible chat. You get what I'm referring to. It doesn't mean anything. For me, it's purely get over the line. And it's 3 years now. Really, if I cut him a bit of slack, it's 2 years now, this year and last year. There's a lot of explaining, bro. He's not the worst manager we've had, like some people are saying. That's just as bad as the toxic positive guys. Exactly. No, anybody saying Mikel Arteta is the worst manager we had is a damn liar, bro. Like, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. All right, let me ask you a different question. Then, if you were the owner, would you sack Mikel Arteta? What sort of owner? If I'm the Cronkies and I work like the Cronkies, and the same way the Cronkies manage the football club is like I'm them, then you're not going to sack him. If you're asking me off my own bat, I would have spent the last few months talking to Xabi Alonso, seeing what could happen there, and then we'll take it from there, man. But I think there needs to be a legit conversation, man. I really do. The only thing I kind of cut Arteta some luxuries and the club, like Arteta, the players, is the Champions League. Don't get twisted. I want to win that. I want to be one of the teams that one day where you're saying, you know, PSG and Madrid and all these guys are favorites to win. I want to get there, but I'm not going to crucify performance, how you win or go out of the Champions League 100%. But I'm not going to be very harsh on if you won the champs or whatnot yet. I think we need to bully up the domestic thing. I am going to be very harsh on you in the FA Cup. We're Arsenal Football Club, record holders of that. We need to keep doing that. And I think since we've won it, we've been doing mad. And I think one thing, people will move the goalposts. If you win the cups, but not the big ones, we know what is said there, yeah. But I feel that will cut you some bit of slack. People could at least say, "Rah, Champions League is a myth. We ain't won the Prem, but you can see something building. We're picking up the League Cup. We're picking up the FA Cup, etc." Arteta's been abysmal since you won that. Let's be real. It's been abysmal. There's nothing wrong with it. It has been abysmal. We've got to be real. It's been abysmal, man. Like, it's been absolutely abysmal. Premier League, the fact that you ain't won, that's a shame. Last year is the first time I smelt mentality in a while at this football club. That's cool. But we rested on our laurels in the summer for whatever reason. Eddie's fault, Arteta's fault, Kroenke's fault. Couldn't get your signings. This one got it wrong. That one got it wrong. Didn't see level raising. Look at the summer we had. Calafiori, one of the better signings of the four we made in the summer window. Injury prone. Lewis Skelly is the first name on the team sheet. And if they put a gun to your head, there is a reality. If we disregard the right-hand side, yeah, some people would probably put, and you have to win a game or keep a clean sheet or defend well or your whole life's over. Some people will probably put Tini above him. People put Lewis Skelly above him. Some people might even put Timber left back just to save my life, 90 minutes job above him. The only ones that are not going to be put above him is the city ones, the Kiviors, Tizinis, etc. So you haven't improved the starting 11 at this point. Mikel Merino has not improved the starting 11 at this point. Respectfully to Raheem Sterling, from Edu said we didn't plan on that. It's crazy. Every day you hear Arteta, I'm tired of hearing. I'd rather him go and we get a next good manager and we'll see if the problem is the coach or the club, because I see everyone knows what money he had. I hear you, Daryl, but I do think there is a cop-out in that when Arteta gets it right, it's, you know, it's all, oh, yeah, he did this and that. When it goes wrong, it's, oh, how do you, not saying you, but people like to say, oh, how do you know exactly what went on? It's not, you can't have it both ways. Agreed, I'm very disappointed in our cup record, 2 wins in the FA Cup since lifting it in 2020, and that's abysmal. And let's be real, as a football club in this current climate, Arteta, the coaching staff, 1,000,000% the players, when it's sink or swim, especially in the cups, we do not get over the line. That is something we need to be addressed. Arteta also failed to manage his economy. You love saying that, innit? Now we have a bunch of failed prospects that we spent money out for loan. DG, where do you think Odegaard's best position is? For me, it's an 8. I reckon we should I think you mean go for a 10 in the window. I think it's in the role he is in now. If I'm brutally honest, I just think rather than change his position, it's more changing the system. I just think Odegaard's never going to be a floater, but I just feel you need to let him float a bit. I would prefer him, if you're asking me, play a bit deeper because, well, he's not scoring, but you'd rob him of the Saka link-up play. But I do think he's nowhere near Santi Cazorla, but I think he could kind of, if we could get out of him, he could be the conductor. He could be the guy that kind of knits things together, man. But Odegaard needs to pull his finger out, man. I need to see a bit more. We play 4-3-3, guys. Odegaard has been playing 8 the whole time. I'm not excited about this Zubi signing because that means we have to keep Partey for at least another year for experience since Jorginho is definitely gone. I want us to move on from Partey. Boy, for a team that gets gassed so highly, we need better than 1 FA Cup in 5 years. Even United in their worst eras top that. And for me, it's not even that year. It's, bro, we're actually a good football team, you know. Like, yeah, we need to make improvements and people can banter us and that, but we're not what we used to be. We're actually fucking decent football team. We're not an easy game to play. Like, we're actually got a decent, we can do something. Why are we not winning trophies? Liverpool are meant to fall off and this and that and the third. They picking up something and got to a final. Not that I ever want to trade where United are at. They're somehow getting over the line. Telling me we can't make 1-2 bits and pieces of history of ourselves. And before me as a selfish fan that just wants to see my club do that, I want it for the players and the manager, you know, whether I believe in them or not. It shows you that when you're training and you're listening to the talking points negatively and positively, when you're starting to go through those periods of doubt, especially because I haven't seen these players down tools yet, that little day out at Wembley or that little camaraderie, because you've got to remember, anyone that understands sports, these men are seeing each other more than they're seeing their gal and kids, you know, they're with each other together, deeper kind of things. If you see it at Sunday League, so it'd be nice to know Like they could do, like you got over the line, and then you know you think, "Right, I want an FA Cup, want a League Cup, wonder what it feels like to win the Prem." Because I would say at any point, yeah, if the player's ever down tools, Mikel Arteta needs to leave immediately. Rightly or wrongly, you could say it's the blind leading the blind, but I haven't seen them down tools yet. And I'm not even saying that to gas Arteta. Once I see that, when I saw that under Wenger, when I saw that under Emery, when I've seen that under Ten Hag at United, that's when man need to leave the football club, man. If I was the owner, I would have said after last season, I want trophies / leagues and league challenge and give him 200 in the summer. If you can't deliver end of the season, you're on. DG going around the houses. My word, this guy never gives a straight answer. That means you don't want my answer. You just want what you want me to say, which I'm never going to be pressured into that. It's not how life works, man. Football's an easy game, but it's also a contradiction. So you're going to have to go to a more simpler content creator, man. But yeah, football, if it was that simple, I would have told you. With Emery, I said he needed to cut. Apparently, Liverpool are willing to trigger Nico Williams' 60 million euros release clause. Liverpool are determined to beat Arsenal, Aston Villa, Paris Saint-Germain, and Manchester United to the signing of Nico Williams and are willing to trigger his 60 million euro clause. Arsenal and Man United learn new Benjamin Sesko asking price allegedly smashed the like button, which is not alleged. Sesko among several strikers linked with summer transfers. Arsenal, Man United, and PSG touted as suitors for the 21-year-old. Leipzig are open to selling for the right price. RB Leipzig are ready to listen to offers of 70 million euros, which equates, is that right, to about 58.9 million. So in an ideal world, I think the club will try the impossible dream of Isaac, and then at some point, it just makes more sense, bro. Like, obviously, Isaac makes more sense. He's a better player, but that's a fallacy, and I've already spoken about why I don't think we're going to sign Isaac and all these things, but 58 million euros release clause. And that means we're going to bargain that probably a bit more than that, but tailor it in a way that we're paying it over a certain period. So that's 58.9 million tailored. Assuming you get Zubamendi, that it's got a 50 million release clause. So that's 50 region tailored. That's 108 million on addressing two key areas. You get my man Nico Williams, negotiate the same thing. They've all these players that we seem to be linked with, like proper credible interest, seem to have release clauses. That's 50 odd million, assuming it all happens. That's 150 odd million quid addressing three areas. They're not gonna go and spend. If they say 120 million, great. But I just think our pound stretch a bit more if it makes sense. DG, would you take Kobbie Mainoo at Arsenal with his contract situation at United? I reckon we should make a move for him. He'll probably sign a new deal. It just seems like paper talk, but Kobbie Mainoo's a good player, and I'd rather, pardon me, whatever I say about Sesko, yeah, or Kobbie Mainoo for what you said, or Nico Williams, or Rayan Cherki, I'd rather Mikel Arteta get these products, whether he can do it or not, rather than Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling, Kai Havertz, and the rhetoric and the talking points. You know, Arsenal fans, as good as Mikel Arteta is or isn't, people look at him like he can turn water into wine, and I'm never going to say no to project players, but there's already a lot of unfinished projects, because if Arteta really could train up everybody and save everyone, and that's not a criticism, can't save everyone. Raheem Sterling probably is in the England squad. Kai Havertz, we probably either don't need a centre mid or a striker. Fabio Vieira, forgotten man, I know we're forgetting about it. Martinelli gets back gets back to what he was a few years ago. So for me, get the young, like Lewis Kelly, Wanyeri, they've come from the academy. I'm on them kind of projects, man, not the broken goods kind of project, if it makes sense. Sesko is one of the many high-profile strikers expected to be on the move this summer. Don't forget, I'm back with the lads at 3 p.m. with European heavyweights like Arsenal, Manchester United, and PSG all keen to land his signature after watching him net 35 goals in 78 Bundesliga for the Bundesliga side. It was reported recently that Sesko's contract includes a release clause initially starting at 70 million euros, but likely climbing before the season ends as it's tied to a number of performance-related variables. Now, that's something we've heard consistently. Apparently, Christian Flock of Sky Germany / Sports Blinder said that Leipzig are prepared to listen to bids of 70 million euros, offering a discount to Sesko suitors. Now, I reckon Arsenal will try and get Isaac and know that this guy's waiting in the wings. But the Isaac thing, it's not happening. I want to be wrong. Leipzig are well aware that the strength of suitors chasing Sesko's signature means a summer departure is well effectively guaranteed. Arsenal are known admirers of Sesko, while he was recently named on a four-man shortlist for United. Newcastle United and PSG have been touted, while there have been speculative links to the vast majority of Europe's elite. A 70 million price tag is affordable for most sides, particularly in a market in which strikers are expected to command premium fees due to the significant competition. Osimhen, Gyokeres, Isaac are among the biggest names attracting interest, while Frankfurt's Hugo Ekitike and Ipswich Town's Liam Delap have plenty of admirers. Everybody, you can make a case of a striker of various degrees. Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, even Newcastle, whether it would be to replace Isaac or someone that can mix and blend with him. And I mean, if Newcastle keep Isaac, which is going to happen, get Mbuemo, who I want, and a Hugo Ekitike, a young kind of prodigy, they're laughing, people. They're laughing, man. It don't make sense. The last time I'm going to say this about Isaac, do I think Arsenal could table an offer for Isaac and in an ideal world get the deal over the line, provided many of the things I'm about to say happened, will fall in place? Yes. Newcastle do not need to sell him. They're about to get Champions League football. They've just claimed the trophy in 7 years, got a good manager in Eddie Howe. Clearly, Newcastle's owners once the red tape and all of that PSR stuff, which is designed to cripple the big teams in it, because they always talk about sports washing when it's foreign owners of a certain shade or a certain region. When it's rich English guys or rich Americans, it's never that really. Read between the lines. So yeah, they got a good project, about to get Champions League. They're probably sitting there and saying, right, you see what Eddie Howe's doing with Tonali, Gomares and that. Don't watch that. Gordon's there. We're going to get some more talent. You've got 2-3 years left on your deal where it's a World Cup year next year. I don't know if Sweden have qualified, but it's one where, you know, sometimes moving club or staying at club can boost your chances. It's got 3 years left. The priority is to give Isaac a new deal. Everyone likes to forget, they didn't do what Solskjaer that did, where they bought him for 10 million and now they're talking about selling him for 80, 100. They've spent 80 million on him. They will make a little profit. For it to work for Arsenal, you'd have to offer 100, 110, 120, 130 in favourable terms that Newcastle deem are realistic. He'd need to kick up a fuss, probably need less time on his contract, and we'd have to be prepared to overpay. There's too much variables that would have to fall into place. That's the last, I'm lying, but that's the last time I'm going to speak about Isaac because it's a bit exhausting. Great player, would love him, 14 shirt, he's free, great stuff. From one Swedish forward to another, Arsenal are allegedly plotting a decisive raid on Sporting for Viktor Gyokeres this summer. They've requested a formal meeting with his agent, Hassan Ketinkaya. Forgive me for mispronunciation, I tried. Who is said to be a friend of Mikel Arteta. Oh, be careful of friends, people. Allegedly, Arsenal are reportedly plotting a decisive raid, as we've seen. Mikel Arteta has made signing a striker his top priority for the summer, and the Gunners recruitment team and incoming sporting director Andrea Berta have drawn up a short list of targets. Gyokeres has 83 goals in 91 games for Sporting since joining in 2023, which is crazy. He's got a release clause of 100 million euros, which equates to about 83.6 million. You do see as low as 50 odd that he can go for, all the way to 100, according to this Portuguese outlet, which I don't know for the credibility, and I'm quite pessimistic. Arsenal already preparing what they hope will be a decisive raid to secure the 26-year-old services. Unless the impossible dream of Isaac is over, and unless Sesko has said something, then maybe for me, I could start to consider it being realistic where Gyokeres is concerned, people. So we'll have to see. Apparently, he's a friend of Arteta, which means whatever it means to you lot. The report adds that Arteta's relationship with Gyokeres' agent could help them get ahead of their suitors. But then again, Amarin's worked with him before, so then you could boost all of that, if I'm honest with you. Team talks transfer insider again. Fraser Fletcher. I don't know how interested you are, how credible you are, but he has said Arsenal, United, Chelsea are all interested. And this says that the fee could be around 54.5 million. So even cheaper than Isaac. Is even cheaper than Isaac, but Sesko. Arsenal also have other strikers on their radar. Newcastle's Isaac is the dream target for Arteta, but again, his price tag could be a problem and he's valued at 150. Sesko is another forward Arsenal are very keen on, while Team Talk understands that another swoop for Ollie Watkins is also possible. Apparently, the Nottingham Forest links are not that bad, but Gyokeres is linked with everyone and their nan, people. You know, again, Fresneda, a defender that once upon a time was linked with Arsenal on Gyokeres, said he always needs to score goals. He gets frustrated if he doesn't. He's a machine in games, in training, in life. He's a star from another word. Don't hear Arsenal strikers talk like that. In fact, to be fair, the way Kai Havertz speaks about scoring goals in comparison to a Gabriel Jesus is very different. He's on another level. He's a very complete player because he's physically strong, so fast, he's powerful, he's got a shot, but that's not all. The quality he has, his height, his physical strength. Second time you said strength. You try to find a player like that in today's football. I don't see many like him who are physically strong and they have the quality. He's always the same. What people see in the game is what we see in training. A lot of people have talked about him and nothing's changed. He's the same every day. which shows you his quality really in a struggling in a struggling season for Sporting, man. But again, he's linked with everyone. He's linked with Nottingham Forest, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Barcelona every now and again, and he's linked with Atletico Madrid. He'd be a good signing for them, even though they got Julian Alvarez. He's eager to join them, allegedly, people. He's been identified as a key target. 26-year-old again, 4 Premier League clubs as well as several others. Everyone wants a forward. There's not going to be one free hit. If Isaac becomes available, everyone wants that. Osimhen, everyone wants that. Gyokeres, yada, 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 yada. You get where I'm going. Imagine Alvarez and Gyokeres together, though. That would be mad. I think he'd cook at Atletico, man, if I'm honest with you. As I said, Nottingham Forest have been linked. Don't know what to read into that. The Daily Mail did an article, people, where they spoke about potential strikers. So, like, well, why not go over it, innit? I guess smash the like button and subscribe if you're new here. Let's see what strikers they're talking about. Oh, Lord, Isaac. Well, we know he's great. Do you remember at the start of the season, yeah? Because we've been talking about Isaac for a while. Some of you were on this live stream saying, yeah, he's having a bad season, man. They did it with Haaland when Haaland scored like 11 goals and went on a drought. Are they saying any of this about Isaac anymore? I don't know. Isaac has been consistently involved in transfer speculation since starring in his debut season for Newcastle back in 2022-23. He's got 19 goals this campaign, as well as winning the League Cup. Apparently, the Mail Sport reported in January that Arsenal had expressed an interest in Isaac last summer and may push for the Swede again at the end of this campaign. Should have tried last summer, really. The Newcastle forward has been touted as being worth a staggering 150 million and has 3 years left to run on his deal. Mail Sport revealed earlier this week that the chairman of Newcastle has told the club's hierarchy to resist any offers. Now, what I would say is, I don't think Isaac is leaving Newcastle. But I do think a lot of Newcastle-based journalists are disingenuous. They're not going to say that he's available. And this ain't even to do with Arsenal. They're obviously going to say, Isaac is obviously going to say in press conferences that I'm not available. Arsenal or any other club are not going to be drawn on him. Isaac himself is not going to talk too much. I don't think he's as much of a shoo-in to stay at, like, I think it's not 100% sure he stays at Newcastle, but I think it's 99.9%. I think there's a bit of rhetoric like he's 100% not leaving, which isn't the case. If I'm Newcastle, I shot him to PSG or Barcelona, but PSG don't know what Luis Enrique thinks. Liverpool don't know if they got the money for him. Arsenal, myth. What's the other one linked with him? Barcelona, Wolf. I'm sure that'd be the one he'd want to go to, but there you have it. And again, they're trying to get my man to sign a new deal. And if it's all fun and games, even if there was a Newcastle fan that said no one's above the club, selling for 100, 120, whatever, that's going to have to be reinvested. Now, if they carry on in the same vein in which they initially got Isaac, they got nothing to worry about. So his potential suitors, Arsenal and Liverpool. Gyokeres, we've been over that. Look, Manchester City has been dropped in. And another Portuguese report, despite him being linked with Man United, is saying he'd prefer a transfer to either Arsenal or Manchester City, where you've got Haaland. So there you have it. And then his name dropped Real Madrid, really? Real Madrid? Gyokeres, really? Barcelona? Okay. Lewandowski's not getting any younger. Bayern Munich, I hear it. There's rumors about Kane departing, and we go with the rest. Jonathan David's deal's running down. Talks about wanting to play in La Liga. Could be the market opportunity that a lot of people are looking for. Barcelona, Juventus, and Inter seem to be linked with him. Arsenal, Liverpool, Manchester United, and West Ham United all been name dropped. Oh, Vlahovic. Well, he might not leave now because Thiago Motta's left Juventus. Obviously, he's got a year left on his deal. He was linked with us going back to 2022. He's got 14 goals in 34 appearances in all comps, 4 goals behind his total from last season, people. I don't know if people are going to be interested in him, but nonetheless, apparently United and Arsenal reportedly inquired about the Serbian in January transfer window. Both sides could also be keen on the move. Chelsea also said to have interest in him. Arsenal, Manchester United, and Chelsea have all been name dropped here. We've gone over Sesko here. This goes as low as to say 49.5 million, and it could rise to 66. So it seems there's a bit of confusion there. Sky Sports Germany report Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, and Tottenham Hotspur hold an interest in Sesko, with the Gunners having been long-term suitors. And Sesko could be the man that finally leads the Gunners to Premier League glory. Really? Osimhen, another one, got 26 goals in 30 games. Respectfully to Galatasaray, though. Napoli looked like they couldn't wait to sell you. You look like you knew. They both look like Osimhen and Napoli look like, yeah, it's time to move on. Why haven't you been linked with beer clubs and nobody bought you? You rocked up in Turkey. Is there something wrong with you as a person? You know, I don't like to do that, but is there something wrong with you as a person? Is there something with the finances of the deal? Is there some element that you wouldn't be privy to unless you work in the footballing world versus us? I don't know. Arsenal haven't been name dropped. Chelsea and Manchester United have. Marcus Rashford, myth. Boniface, naturally, it's easy to link him with all the clubs that need a forward, as you can see here. All 4 of these clubs, from Newcastle to Arsenal, and in between Man United and Chelsea, it's easy. He almost went to Saudi. That didn't happen. Julian Alvarez is primarily linked with Liverpool. Every now and again, he's going to be linked with us because Berta obviously helped bring him over to Atletico Madrid. So it all depends. Ollie Watkins, we tried in January. But again, how far does the Ollie Watkins thing go? Because I know that there's probably a degree of interest, but remember, he was offered to us. We didn't go and try and get him, you know, even with the backdrop of the injury. So how far does that interest go? Arsenal and Manchester United have been put on red alert, as Hugo Ekitike names his famous club. I'll save you that. He scored a hat-trick for the under-21s against England. He's being linked to everyone. People say he's like a baby Isaac. He said he grew up watching Manchester United people, which adds fuel to the fire. He's got 19 goals in all comps and 13 in the Bundesliga, so he's doing his thing. Allegedly, Arsenal want to sign a Barcelona player, and that Barcelona player seems to be Araujo. Wouldn't mind that at all. But on top of Araujo, allegedly, Arsenal are intent on signing Cunha and Zubamendi. So we're going to spend big money on Araujo, big money on Cunha. Fair enough, we've been linked with Zubamendi. But this is about talking about a winger and a striker. Maybe we do have a 300 million war chest, man. Maybe. I don't know, people. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to smash the like button. There's 90 odd of you in here. We've only got 54 likes. Big up you lot who have hit the like. But if you haven't, come on, how are we going to grow, mate? He's underrated. Courtesy of Saeed's live stream. Football Transfers has already revealed that Zubamendi is close to signing for the club, while detailing the Gunners' pursuit of Cunha. Nico Williams is thought to be the leading wing target, according to our information, with Arsenal in pole position to make that happen. Everyone's in pole. We're in pole position to get Mudryk. It does. I don't know how far that goes. Until these lot have signed for the football club, I don't know. In total, this pair are worth 135 million, which means if they sign both plus Araujo, their summer spending will be just short of 200 million euros. To be fair, that's before you talk about exits. On top of this, Arteta also wants to add a striker to his ranks. Isaac of Newcastle and Sesko of Leipzig are the leading contenders. Arsenal are therefore on course for a record-breaking summer in the transfer market. I hope so, man. I really do. I really do. Once again, Arsenal allegedly are favourites to sign Nico Williams, despite interest from Chelsea and Barcelona. I don't know for that. Obviously, he's on hefty wages of 200 grand per week, but if you shift off the Partey's, the Jorginhos, the Tierney's, that could obviously help us. We got to remember we need to keep the key players of our own at the football club, man. I'd take Lewandowski and Kudus. Like saying like and tell them again, it would be very Arsenal. Is it a colour thing? Don't worry. It's Marcel, shut up, man. Oh God, please, no Vlahovic, just take Sesko. Man City are rebuilding. Stop it. No one's going there. No one's going to Man City. A man said more realistic. Saka. No, it's more realistic. Arsenal signed Isaac. Then come on, Newcastle. Big up Newcastle. I've got nothing but respect for yourselves, but come on now. Everyone needs to know their place, man. Too many of these Ben Jacobs about these days. Total wafflers. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm more than happy speaking about it with you lot, but even Romano and Ornstein, they've succumbed to the belly of the beast of the rumors in it. But at least them lot. Their names hold weight. The others, I don't know. Like, has Ben Jacob been right about anything? Or is he just piggy banking off what other people say? And just like half of these journalists just add their own spin to the thing. Isaac is too expensive. I don't know what you lot are doing. Consider your options and keep it moving. Oh, where's that comment? Someone had a comment about terrible something in relation to Nico Williams. I don't know where that's gone, man. Bro, we can't be signing defenders before we get a striker. Why not just work on all the deals? They're all of equal importance. I mean, for me, the one I would definitely not want to not happen would be a striker or a winger. But you need a winger. You need a striker. You need a centre mid. 100% we need another left back. No, I don't really care what Thomas Tuchel said there. Big in Mark. We're still linked with Cunha again. I don't really take stock in that. I would love us to sign Rayan Cherki, man. I think in this day and age of systems and people don't really want stardust, that they will go for someone that is going to just do the normal things a manager wants. But 20 odd million, like, I think you could be one of the best players in the world. I think you've got it. I think you've got the tools, but I think you really, really have to want it. And kind of, obviously, you can't be Cristiano Ronaldo, but do that Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm living for my career type of thing. Cherki, there's nothing you can't do with a ball, bro. Apparently, Arsenal's plan is to announce Berta at some point in the upcoming week. Draw whatever conclusions that you want with that. Apparently, Joao Santos, Jorginho's agent, met with Dudu Batista, the agent who is mediating the talks with Flamengo, and gave him an outline of the wages and contract lengths that Jorginho wants. Dudu Baptista will now show Flamengo. Flamengo will reevaluate. After games against Real Madrid in the Champions League, Santos will meet with Arsenal to discuss the midfielder's future. Again, not that you lot need to even know about that, but Romano said there's no concrete negotiations or contact between Arsenal for Bruno Gomes. He was on the list when Gaspar was at Arsenal, but there hasn't been any direct contact now that Burr has succeeded him. Got more of a chance of signing him over Isaac if that's what you want. Nottingham Forest are apparently prepared to break their transfer record to sign Cunha for 60-odd million quid. What else have we got? We were linked a few days ago with El Nouri. Tottenham will need to pay 40 million to secure the signing of him. People, Liverpool, Arsenal, and United are all allegedly keen. What else have we got? Newcastle, Arsenal, and Liverpool are all considering a summer bid for Mbeumo. I'd love him to sign. I mean, something probably more unrealistic than is that would be Harry Kane. He's seriously considering returning to the Premier League, and Liverpool is his preferred option. Should Arsenal do so, the White Soul Campbell repeat. Music to my ears. Arsenal allegedly are closing in on a new long-term contract for Wanyeri. It's going to be up to 5 years. Him and Lewis Skelly, priorities. Doing quite well at this football club, to say the least. Move that. Arsenal, Man United, and Liverpool could use Lookman. We're still linked with Lookman. Apparently, Barcelona see him as an alternative to Nico Williams. Apparently, Atalanta have set a 65 million euros asking price, which equates to about 50, 55, 50, 57. He's got 18 goals and 7 assists to his name. And he would help all of these clubs, man. He would help all of these clubs. You know, Liverpool got Salah cut in. United need a winger. Arsenal need a wide man. Are these clubs really interested, or is it just paper talk? I don't know, people. What's this? Man United target ex-Premier League star also wanted by Arsenal and Newcastle. Who? Amarin will look to put his fingerprints on United, blah, blah. Is this in relation to Trincao? Like clockwork. They couldn't get Quenda, so they're being linked with him. Didn't do it at Barca. Looked all right at Braga. Been at Barca, been at Wolves. Didn't really work out. Has worked with him before. So another one is easy to link. Barcelona are interested, and apparently they have a buyback clause. Newcastle and Arsenal are putting him on the radar. Do we really buy that? Can you imagine we'd have to have watched him at some point? He did score for Portugal, obviously, in their game yesterday or the day before, whenever it was. Big up. Odegaard got an assist. But it was for Norway. Big him up. Partey got 83 minutes for Ghana. Why is Semenyo being mentioned? Is that mind games? Okay, Partey got 83 minutes for Ghana. Kivior got a clean sheet. Fair enough, man. Big up you lot abroad, man. Lewis Skelly, obviously, the king of the young king of the international break for Arsenal. Saliba and Mikel Moreno, obviously, are in Nations League knockout wins, people. Shout out France as they overcame Croatia. Do you see the goal from Elise? What a Bobby Dazzler. Maybe even shopping in the championship, because I've seen Bowen, Elise, Eze. There's players everywhere. Morgan Rogers, fair enough, from City, but players are everywhere. You can buy household names. You can do the scouting thing. Let's just get the right players. I don't really care what the media said about you. Barcelona see Lookman as an alternative to Nico Williams and Rafa Leao. Fair enough. Rafa Leao rumours soon start again. We all know there's a Basque revolution. Arsenal and Nottingham Forest have been linked with Ivan Ndika. Yes, in 2025, we're being linked with Ivan Ndika, who is a left-sided centre-half, would command the 30 million euros asking price. Don't know if I believe in that. What's this? Arsenal and Man United, as well as Spurs, have been looking at former Real Madrid youngster Nico Paz, who ironically is playing under Cesc Fabregas at Como. We're not getting him in it, and that's poured cold water on that. Who else have we got here? Martin Zubimendi made more interceptions than any player in the Nations League. I mean, that's his ball game, people. Spurs are exploring the chance to sign Tyler Diblin from Southampton. For me, I'm on that, man. Them kind of players there is what we need. Liverpool, Bayern Munich, Dortmund will all compete for the signing of Rayan Cherki this summer. Lyon have decided to sell the 21-year-old. Bro, go and grab that. Chelsea and Liverpool are prepared to make 75 million euro bids. But again, you look at the article, these lot just make up rumors, man. And to be honest with you, pick up yourselves. Allegedly, Newcastle are ready to pay the asking price for Mbeumo. Whatever that is, I guess we'll find out, people. That is no relevance. I'll just read in Thomas Tuchel comments. We've gone over the Jorginho stuff. What's Romano said? Arsenal and United eyeing up Deluded. Chelsea already looking. He's on Chelsea's list for sure. Let's see if more clubs join or not. All Premier League clubs looking for a striker are monitoring him, but at the moment, nothing concrete yet. And I mean, I believe that's just common sense. Everybody's going to be looking at everyone. I don't think that's necessarily with the greatest of respect to Romano being the oracle. Good news where Jurriën Timber's concerned. He's expected to be fit after the international break for the game against Fulham. We are unfortunately not in the FA Cup this weekend, or we'd be playing at the weekend, people. Chelsea have been offered the chance to sign Aaron Ramsdale. Ramsdale, if you're a true Arsenal man, go there and stink up the place. Show them worse than what Sanchez is doing. Should have probably got him. He's apparently signed a 4-year deal at Southampton, but he's still expected to leave in the summer. I thought you didn't mind playing in the Championship and all of that. Fair enough, man. So, yeah, man, that appears to be all the paper talk and the tabloids and all that kind of jazz, people. Scrolling all the way back. So, yeah. Hey, Chinks, big up yourself. Shout out Hooks for that, man. I don't want Cherki. He's not that guy. I think he would struggle in the Prem. A lot of people haven't watched the guy. They've only seen comps and highlights. I think for him, it's a weird one in that we live in this system day where it's not about the individuals kind of thing, and you have to work hard. And there'll be wingers, like let's just say 10 games. Like I'm a manager, there's 10 games. I need a left wing, I need a right winger. And Cherki can play all about the place. He's a man that might win you a game on its own every now and again. But the others over 10 games might give you 6s or 7s. And I do think he's got a chip on his shoulder, which I big up my guy Durag Diaries. Make sure you're following, which obviously is naturally going to play a part in it. I just think I don't know what I'm having him. I'm having him, man. I think he's raw, but I think there's a player in him. I don't think he's the Messiah kind of thing, but I'm having him. I really am. Harry Kane is an idiot. If he is seriously considering a return to the Prem, Bayern is where he should end his career. Tons of trophies and maybe a champs. What is he doing thinking about the Prem? I think it's a thing they're trying to sell him back, because there was Ballon d'Or shouts for him. But when you deep it, I'm sure there was a point in the Bundesliga this year he struggled for goals from open play. I'm sure I can speak for all rival fans. I hope you keep... Man, Marcel, man's trolling, man. My dreams, Alonso. Appreciate you, my guy. My dream, Alonso to Real. Zubi backs out. Kama comes. Kamavinga's a movie, man. Arteta's playing him left, but which Carlo does. Transfers seem to be lottery at this moment. Exactly, man. That's why I'm more than happy speaking about it with you lot, but it's not going anywhere, is it, really? We all know these... And probably unlikely. The thing is, if Arsenal, like reports say, have all but done Zubimendi, want Sesko and Williams, and want that Garcia, what's Berta doing this summer? Just making sure it gets over the line. I guess, making sure we get some sales, patterning up contracts. And if if we do the bulk of our business and we get the majority of the players in and there's still a bit of the budget left, maybe there's money for maybe not for Arteta because he'll buy another Kai Havertz, but there might be money for some sort of super player. What I like about Sesko is he shoots. But I would prefer Gyokeres. I really hope we have a different style of play in the new season. Arteta's got to evolve. It's a shame Partey's leaving Arsenal without a trophy. He's been one of Arteta's best signings. You know what? I'd give the best signing, maybe Timber in time, but I would say Gabriel Magalhaes because I just think it's Magalhaes. We've got a lot of work to do in the summer. Left wing and striker, another left back or versatile defender and goalkeeper. Also, we need to get another midfielder to replace Partey and Jorginho. So it seems we're all aligned in thinking. Do you think if we re-employed Emery, he'd take us to what Arteta has missed so far? Hypothetically, if Arteta is the problem, what level of manager would we need to get over the line? I don't know, because obviously Arne Slot is going to be held in high regard now. But he's only been managing 2 years longer than Arteta. And he's probably going to be in the shouts because of rightly so what he's achieved at Liverpool. So I don't know, but maybe someone that can just get us over the line. In relation to Emery, I reckon Emery would have won an FA Cup. Maybe only one, but I reckon Emery at Arsenal would have probably won one of the domestic cups. Champions League, I think we'd be doing the same old. The league, I've never seen Emery do it. Fair enough if he done it in France, but I've never seen Emery do it. So I think we'd be in the same kind of thing. It'd be interesting to see what Arsenal would have looked like if Arteta was the first one after Arsene Wenger, which was the plan, but he said no. And if, assuming that was the case, it didn't work for Arteta, what Emery would have done. It's true, DG. I always mention that Arteta goofed his economy because he wasted money. And that's the thing. You can't just blame the Cronkies. Like, everybody's in it together, but whatever you say about the lack of spending, we spent over 100 million on Mikel Merino and Kai Havertz, adding 30 million on Fabio. Now, a lot of signings have worked. I'm not here to say all the signings that haven't, but how far does just blaming things go? Odegaard needs to play on the flank. Flank. His right side bias kills whatever fluidity that happens on that side because of his unnecessary touches and spins on the ball before playing the obvious 5-yarder. I don't know about playing on the flanks. I see the angle, but Inzaghi level of manager would be amazing. Should we worry about Gabriel leaving in the summer? I mean, if you've seen Thierry Henry leave your football club, it's nothing at this moment in time. But naturally, it's a possibility. I think we'll get all our free players to sign new deals. But stranger things have happened, essentially. And look what's going on at Liverpool. Champions League, we suck. People conflate Emre being goated in Europa with him being goated in Europe. Bro has been KO'd from the groups 3 times and round of 16 3 times and lost a 4-goal lead. Hey, maybe Kane still wants Shearer's record, win Bundesliga and dip, which would be fair enough. He'll done what he went there for. I hear it. Gyokeres, big up Hooks. Make sure you're following. Make sure you're following all the guys. Gyokeres still my number one. I can't lie. I'm at this point, yeah. I'm not even on the. I just want a striker now, man. If it's gonna like, it's, whether they're realistic or not, if it's gonna be Isaac, so be it. Sesko, so be it. Gyokeres, so be it. Osman, so be it. I'd rather sign the guy and we go over it later, man. There's a reason no one came in for Cherki. PSG snatch up all the talent. They never went for him. There's underlying stats and data the coaches have. I hear it, and that's where I think he's got potential. But there's clearly some other stuff there. Thiago's quality as well. Come on. like Chinks has said, big up DG, smash the likes, people. Or is it a colored thing? This guy's gold, man. It's Cherki, horrendous talent, horrendous attitude and discipline. I can't talk on horrendous discipline and that, but that's right. I mean, I'm not wowed by Cherki. And what I mean by that is clearly I've been waxing lyrical. I've got videos about him. But I look at it as, what are you doing with it? You got to want to do it every week. That's what maybe I didn't articulate myself well, yeah, but that's what I mean about if you really, really want it, you could be lit. And I think that's the reason. I do think he stagnated a bit because he was rated at 15, 16 and he's still only 21. You know, that tells you where the present day is. But there's got to be a reason. A bit like what I was saying with Osman. It's all the players are different. A bit like Ivan Toney, who went to Saudi. When you've got a player that's evidently available in several teams, you can make a case as to why they haven't signed them. You have to think why sometimes. Sometimes people drop the ball. Like Caradonna, I saw his agent talk the other day and say we offered him to all the traditional top 6 in the Prem and all the big clubs in Europe when he was worth 10 million. Napoli said we'll have that. Napoli did that. I would have loved him in last summer, let alone January. But once PSG get involved with a great manager like Luis Enrique, with you guaranteed to go and win trophies at PSG, and let's not talk about how the wages he's probably on is brazy. And ironically, PSG probably need this. I'm never going to say you're better without Neymar, Messi, or Mbappe, let alone all three. But I think you needed less stars and more of a kind of team collective. And if we had one, if there was one guy we needed to sign from France, it should have been that Doué. But once they get up there, boy, you are one of the Deluded Arsenal man. Then I guess we're winning the league after we go on a run. What did I say? Watch along for England today. No, I got an award show. I ain't won nothing, but yeah. Echeverdi's good. Argentina got a good little under 19s, 20s, 21s. You just had to have watched recently the under 20s championships in South America. You know, the World Cup, whatever age it was, which we did watch alongs on Twitch a few months ago. Marmoush with Haaland, with Gyokeres, with Gonzalez, with more new signings. What is this, bro? City are hitting back, bro. City have been complacent. City have needed this love for the super chat. City have needed this for a while, bro. They've rested on their laurels. Now there's an imbalance. You've got really, really young players. And then you've got the Gundawans, the Kevin De Bruynes, the Stones, the kind of the old guard. You've got people like Foden, which should be the guys for right now. Is he going to step up and be that poster boy? For years, I've been saying, when you think of City historically, you think of David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, this one, that one, Haaland, etc. You're going to have to look for Foden. But City are going to get it right. City have rested on their laurels. You saw what they did in January. You saw what they're going to do. Pep lost his wife after 30 years. Pep is finishing where they're finishing now. They are hitting back. And that's the thing, man. People said when City fall off, Arsenal are going to be there. Technically, we're there. We're just not where we want to be. Liverpool are there. And it's 3 years of explaining we still ain't won the title, bro. It's as simple as that, man. Don't worry, City are in a rebuild. I mean, just get over the line. My thing is just get over the line, bro. Like, I don't really care what other teams are doing because I think Arsenal, we've earned that right now. We've got a good base. We need to build on it. And it's not a thing where no one can stop us, but we haven't put our best foot forward. We are not a better team than we was last year. We are not better at a single aspect from this year versus last year or Arsenal versus, well, in the attacking sense, we're not better in 2020. We were better in 2022, 23 than we are now. In the defensive sense, I do believe we was better last season. And when I say that, obviously our defenders are probably our players of the season. Lewis Skelly, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel. I think the whole team, every goal is preventable. Every goal is a cheap goal, quote unquote. But I feel this season from the start of it, there's been too many of those cheap goals. I think last season there was a bit more like over my dead body. There was a bit, we was pressing a bit better, following runners a bit better. Before you get to our defensive third and you talk about the traditional defending, I think we've stagnated. I think we've regressed, but there's no way you can't say at a very minimum we haven't stagnated. We didn't contend. We might finish second by default, but when have we led the title? We didn't make a real meal of this. Last year we made a meal of it. Year before we made a real meal of it. We ain't made no meal of this, bro. It's 12, 13, 14, 15 points. Smoked. Clear regression, bro. This is why we build a top squad, so it's easier to at least win the cups. If we're not even doing that, then it's a problem. If Mustafi them lot can win the cup, so can Gabriel and Saliba. Devil's advocate better at set pieces, or of course we're only emphasizing that much because we lack in areas. I think that stayed the same. We were good at set. Okay, you know what? Statistically, if we've scored more set pieces, great. But I think the set pieces have stayed the same. Really, like I think you're cool with that. But are we better at set pieces? Or we're good at them, we're just keeping it moving? Is that definitely ain't happening? Should get a timeshare deal with Barca for that trophy. Do you think a more inexperienced manager would adapt to the strengths of the squad? Yes and no, because naturally, I do think Arteta does that. I think every manager does that. I think you have to do that. I do think in today's day and age, you need a system, and it's all system thingamajiggy and whatnot. But you have to adapt to what you've got at the squad. You've seen Arteta change things. You know, in hindsight, Tini, he spoke about him being captain. What if he always had the plan of doing the inverted fullbacks? But at that time, Tini couldn't do that. So naturally, where I would say a more experienced manager would have helped, maybe in moments like, I'm being very harsh, but like that whole when Rob Holding came in instead of Kivy, or maybe not buying Kai Havertz, or maybe getting a bit, because I do think Arteta is he's reinvented the wheel, quote unquote, at times with a lot of what we're doing. But I do think we need to we're at that stage now where we've done the vast majority of it. We need to keep things a bit simple, especially in the final third. I do think, I'm not going to say Arteta doesn't give us our own DNA, but I do think we're in that stage where we probably think too much. Our game plan is probably too much about the opposition, which I'm not criticizing. I don't think we move the ball fast enough. I like the fact that we score from set pieces and we've started to score from open play again, but I don't think we've got that cute and cleverness in there. But there's a trade-off. Like, if I wanted us to play mad expansive, we might not be where we're at. But I think now is the time to keep thinking about the opposition and how we can stifle them and force them at best to be in a low block. But can we start to have a bit more of our own personality, really? Big up Karma. As the lady said, like the video, subscribe and support the channel. Come on. Cherki is like Ben Arthur all over again. Ben Arthur at times unplayable, but not consistent enough. And that's the issue. There's no point being quality and having all the skills and tricks if you're not going to utilize it. And that's where I've previously said in a video, I'd love to sit Rayan Cherki down and say, listen, I don't know you from nowhere, but I think you're a baller. And I think at 21, considering how long you've been in the game, one day you're going to blink and you're going to be 32. I think if you don't want it, I think you have a good career. You'll play for some good clubs. You'll score goals. You'll always, you might be like someone said with Ben Arthur, you might be here for 2 years, then you're there and whatever. But at some point, you're going to look back and think, bro, I could have really done something in my career. I want Nico Williams. Bring him, man, at this point. Bring him. City are closer to us than we are to Liverpool. I think everybody's in among the same, if I'm honest with you. I think if anything, I still give City that right. But you're right. We're probably closer to City than... Well, yeah, we are statistically. Like, I don't think Liverpool are 12, 13, 14 points a better team than us. But on statistics, they are, bro. They've smoked us across the season. They've made it happen. We haven't. I don't think Liverpool are as great as some biased Liverpool fans make out, but they're above everybody else, and they found a way to do it. And I hate when it gets into that rhetoric of, for me, you have to give Liverpool their praise. Some people were putting them in top 4 at best, let alone putting them in top 4. They've run away with the league. And then people do this, the standards of the league's crap. They're only good because all the other teams are rubbish. They said that about Arsenal last season and the season before. What Liverpool have to be in control of their own team. Whatever byproducts become talking points is not down to them. Us the same. It sounds good and it sounds great, but it seems a bit, I don't know the word, sour grape, man. Liverpool winning the Prem. I can't listen. Liverpool arguably should be winning the Prem, but it's overachievement. They had by what you should give a new manager. It was a crap window. They brought in a half-fit Chiesa. He's had to work with what he's got. He's had to consistently go with the whole 3 players contracts running down. They've won the league, innit? And they got to a final. Had Liverpool have done what some of the experts were saying they were going to do, we would have heard week in, week out about their contracts. So I'll have to see, man. I just hope we don't look back and think we fumbled this. Liverpool are only good when the league is mid. But that's not their fault, though. That's not their fault. Because you could say when City were bullying this league, obviously they're great, but everyone else is shitter than them as well. We only just started investing in the squad. Really? Are you talking, what team are you? Can't be Arsenal. Yeah, but what has it got with Salah having his bet? Yeah, but what has he got? what he has got is Salah having his best season ever. That is great with Salah, but we knew that. We finished second in the last 2 seasons. No one was watching what Salah was doing. If we want to win team leagues, you have to be able to compete with top other teams. Nobody last season was. Salah was obviously a great player, but we was ahead of Liverpool. Nobody gave a flying monkeys. The year before that, when it was us leading the table and us and City, Salah was irrelevant. Of course, Salah is showing his quality, great season, yada yada yada. But that's not their fault. That's ours. We've got Saka. Who else is doing the job? Because as much as Salah is being great and that, there's other players chipping in. We all know at this current moment in time, who really does the business? For the last 2 years, it's probably been our defenders. If you were to look at our attackers, Saka's doing it for the majority of the season. I'm not here to gas up Kai Havertz at all, but statistically, he's putting the ball in the back of the net and is a lot more reliable and consistent than a lot more of his peers. There's winners win and losers explain, and this is the 3rd year. There's always some other reason as to why Arsenal haven't got it. And I think the biggest pill for me to swallow and what gives me the most optimism is, for me, I don't think we lost this league because of how good or bad Liverpool are or City the last 2 years. That's not to negate anything they've done. I need to look internally and exhaust everything at this football club internally before I say, yeah, we didn't win it because of them. Because if we had a striker, if we had depth, sometimes on the pitch, even when referees have gone against us, the 2 games against Brighton, being 2 goals up against Villa, that's 9 points on the board. At best, it goes, we'd still be talking about things. Fulham as well, West Ham as well. That's 12, 13, 14, 15 points already. And I know you can't win them all. That has nothing to do with what Salah is doing on the roads. That's everything to do with us. There's always an excuse. And I'm not saying you necessarily, but you can't gas up. People gas up our team and say we can do this and that. So then what happens if Liverpool get better, do what they're doing now, but get better, City get better, we're also there, and we finish 2nd or 3rd again? Ignoring all other injuries, we were never winning our first league in however long without our best player. We wasn't, man, and that's the best bitter pill to swallow. But that's why we needed depth. That's why we needed depth. Even with Saka's injury, at the very minimum, we should not be 13, 14, 15 points off Liverpool. We should still be in with a fighting distance. Saka got injured in December. We've still managed to win games. There's been several injuries. We didn't have the depth. For years, we've known we need someone that can replace or fight with Saka. We've known about that left-hand side. We've known about the midfield. We've known about if Odegaard isn't going to do the business or he needs competition. We've known about these things, bro. My only worry is Chelsea still. If that click, bro, if Chelsea get it together one day, like they're throwing too much money at it to not get it right, innit? For me, it's just an over the line thing, man. Cherki might be one of those streets won't forget ballers. At 21, you're a bit harsh, man. Nah, God, you can't. Respectfully to Mark Hughes, you can't call Mikel Arteta Mark Hughes. But again, there is a conversation. Is Mikel Arteta the man that gets it over the line eventually, and all the hard work that we've all collectively, as a whole footballing club, have put together, get over the line? Or is he the man to steady the ship, in which there's nothing wrong with that? I know people say it in a disingenuous way about, oh, he's Brendan Rodgers and that. Who cares? Like, if you set up the base, we've got some good players and all these things off the field. If you've done all of that and someone else comes in and enjoys the fruits of your labor, then that's unfortunate for you, but that's cool. People said when City fall off, we were the ones to take advantage. So then where are we at with that? It's just another year explaining, man. When Arteta coaches a 1-0 at home and a 0-0 away this season, when Arteta coaches a 1-0 at home and 0-0 away this season, will look better. I'm not sure what you mean there. I must admit, maybe I can't understand the sentence. We need 6 players going into next season to win the league. Even now, I don't think we'll fix the Saka depth issue this summer. I could see us doing right the striker and the left winger, but will we seek proper help for Saka, especially after his injury? Even if we had a player 50% of Bukayo Saka, obviously you want someone like for like numbers, but even if there's someone on the left, whatever way we talk about it, we need to get over the line, man. This is tiresome, bro. This is tiresome, bro. We're too good of a football team not to make some history, whether that's the Prem, the League Cup, the FA Cup. We're rampant. And there should be fair questions. I don't think Mikel Arteta's position should be untouchable. I don't think the vast majority of these players shouldn't be untouchable. I think there should be question marks of the ownership. I don't think you can blame a single facet. And again, as we said earlier, this whole Mikel Arteta in, out, go to another channel for that. Innit? I'm not on that. I'm not entertaining that anymore. It's boring. The man is signing here. But within 12 to 15 to 18 months, there's going to be a decision. And for me, fair enough. If you do say not sacking the manager, I mean sacking your manager, be careful what you wish for. It's not going to guarantee success. Who are we going to get? All of that. Okay, I'm not. None of that is even wrong because I don't. All of that's debatable. But I'm just saying, at one point, you're going to have to try something different to get different results. And it does feel, and it really does feel, some people are more loyal to hating Mikel Arteta than supporting the club. Some people support Mikel Arteta more than they should probably support their own family members, let alone the football club. Both sides are dishonest. Where it's in the middle. Are you good? Yes. Are you good enough to get us over the line? Until you do it, no. And that's become the conversation. The project has project. It's a new thing now. And until you get over the line, I think your position should always be up for grabs. We all love Saliba, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Magalhaes, all these guys. We love them. And I'm being a bit silly with this example. But if there was a player that wanted to sign for Arsenal Football Club that was twice the ability of Saka, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Bukayo Saka, you're going to keep it moving, innit? It is what it is. You're going to want to do that. This is the game, bro. We have been saying if all season these races are trying to do the same thing with Arteta they did with the professor. There's too much for me. There's all ifs. It's another season of explaining. It's all ifs and buts and whatnot. Saka might be Brandon. I think you're missing the point, bro. We'll even want to say that if there's another generational guy better than Saka, you get the point. Well, I hope the majority do. Because we can't keep Nelson and Sterling. Good thing is Sterling, he's getting shipped back, man, which is the great thing. It's just a shame because this season's another ifs and buts and what ifs. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. When you apply pressure, we waste every opportunity we get. That's the most frustrating thing about Arsenal. Last summer, man, unfortunately for me, it's the sum we had. We can be close. You're saying stuff that I agree with, and that's irrelevant to me. If I keep saying the task is now getting over the line, of course we're close. I'm not happy with being close. It's definitely better problems than we had. Credit to everybody who's whether good or bad decisions. We're now at this point. It's about getting over the line. You cannot look back. Have to move forward. I'm not happy with the glorious loser stuff. It's another year of explaining. And whatever way you look at it, in these last 3 years, including this year, should we not have won a title? I don't know what move. Which are we moving forward? Is there anything moving forward this year? The only movement, I don't know about movements. I just support Arsenal Football Club, and anyone that is connected to the club, your family, and anyone that is connected to Arsenal, whether I think you're the manager or the players, you'll always have my support. I don't know about this movement and this cult hearing thing. I am just a guy that lives in London, supports Arsenal. You don't do your movement stuff. I'm not involved in any of that. It's over the line business now, man. DG, do you think Arteta will alter his tactical strategy if he has better players who offer more versatility, or do you think he'll stick with his possession-based approach? Naturally, I don't see anything. I think he's going to stick with the possession base. Naturally, if you've got better players that provide more versatility and can give you a bit more, you're going to gamble a bit. I do think Arteta needs to evolve the tactics, if nothing more. Not necessarily for me defensively. I just want to see the ball move from the defensive to the middle third to the final third a bit quicker. We've got to find ways to break down low blocks. We've got to find ways to create more chances. There's so much I think Arteta needs to do on a coaching front to get us to that level as well. Appreciate you, man. Pressure should be on everyone. Pressure's a privilege. This is a fucking massive and beautiful football club. Everyone should be on. In the same way, if we won the last 3 years in a row, Mikel Arteta's Arsenal was running away 13, 14, 15 points, I'll be giving him his flowers. There should be question marks because you've made everybody dream now, bro. You can put faith. I'm not disagreeing with faith. You can say we're close. You can say that. I'm just saying I don't understand what you're talking about with the movement thing. I just support Arsenal Football Club. I don't know what the movement thing is. Success can't always be measured by trophies if we look at sport from a deeper meaning. But it feels like at Arsenal, it's measuring success by everything other than trophies. And the club is too big not to win trophies. We're never going to be Real Madrid or doing what City's doing. We're too good not to win trophies. You can judge. I don't believe in blindly following or blindly putting faith. I put faith in my football club. But what I'm seeing, you don't need to show me what you're doing in the transfer market because you dropped the ball. You lot have kind of showed me tactically the good, bad, and the ugly identically from last season and this season, and putting faith in certain players. So you can, for me, support, following. It doesn't mean just burying my head in the sand. Everyone's allowed to do what they want. I defo support, but I need to see different. We rested on our laurels. Let's be honest, the football club sold the players and us fans' dreams. You do not have a summer. You're not supposed to have a summer like we had last season. I don't care for finances and all of you lot about that. Did we make it happen or not? Yeah, January dead. Yeah, man are talking about paid off Emirates. I hope so. Who doesn't want it to? But and again, I never said it wasn't happening, you know. I just said if this time next year, if we're saying the same things, big up you lot, innit? And I'm saying we're still paying off the Emirates. Fair play, man. Off topic, DG, when we talking about Real, because I don't get why people are saying we're getting battered at home, even because City, even this shit one should beat Real Madrid at home. The thing with Madrid, they're inevitable, man. We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. Well, probably at 3 o'clock in 10 minutes, I'm gonna go live again. I'm gonna have D and Catch. Actually, we're gonna talk everything Arsenal, people. So join me in 10 minutes. This is overran, but this has been amazing. So yeah, big up you lot. Subscribe, do all of that good stuff. I'll see you lot in 10 minutes, man.
Like